You're saying something like, okay, if I have a mixed state that is mixed due to entanglement, then I can assume that its missing information exists in the system that it's entangled to. In other words, just like that piece of paper that I ripped in half
Yeah.
that had the message that went across the paper, it's something like, okay, I have this piece of paper and it's kind of incoherent. It says something about hot pockets, but I don't know what it's saying. I'm assuming that somewhere else there's another half of this piece of paper that if I stick these things together, I'll have a complete message.
But isn't part of quantum mechanics that that information, once it's entangled, it's not retrievable?
No, it is retrievable. That's the whole point.
Always.
It's almost like it's something like the information just diffused into the environment, but the
Yeah.
environment's closed. It has a fixed amount of energy and matter, a fixed resolution. Like it's not losing information. In other words, for the system and environment together, there is no information flux.
But
Just
that's
imagine, huh?
yeah, that's assuming the environment is limited. Like we're assuming a closed system.
Yes, exactly.
We have
Exactly.
to assume a closed system. Otherwise, then no, then it's not retrievable anymore.
Yes, but then you just assume that that thing's in an even larger system.
So no information is ever lost in the universe, is what you're saying?
Well, yeah, if the
Maybe when
system
we
of the
get
universe.
into black holes and stuff, maybe that's different.
No, that's correct. It's something like you have to like assuming the universe is a closed system, then you're assuming something like a pure state of the universe, like that
Mm.
ultimately. But the thing is, and this is something that most physicists again, there's actually Nicholas Gissen, a guy that I cite a lot in my videos. He argues against the idea that you can even conceptualize something like a pure state of the universe. So in other words, if something's not pure, it's always because that information is lost in some other environment. And so if I can just go expand out and gain that information, then it's almost like I'm stepping outside of it. It's almost like when I'm in the laboratory, I'm inside the lab. And so because I'm inside the lab and I'm part of the lab, it's not possible for me to step outside of it. But for an observer outside the lab, they can look at me inside the lab as a contained system. And so
Okay.
this is why I would argue that the idea that there is an articulable pure state of the universe is nonsense. And the reason why is because pure states, quantum states, the wave function is a description of knowledge of an observer, is a description of knowledge of an observer. So if the observer himself is part of the system, then he has to separate himself from
Yeah.
reality to create a closed
Oh,
system. But
yeah.
because he's part of the system, he can never do that.
Yeah.
So because quantum states are associated with the information associated with an observer, and the observer can never remove himself from the
Mm.
system so he can stand outside of it, make it close and see the whole thing, there's no such thing as a pure state of the